Hello everyone. Welcome to the chapter Me, Myself, Mattancherry by the famous Malayalam writer Anitha Thampi. This is Sajid Latif, Department of English. Let me introduce the author. Anitha Thampi is a Malayalam poet, essayist, and translator. She is a chemical engineering graduate with M.Tech and PhD from IIT Bombay. She is a Kerala Sahitya Academy Award winner for the translation work ISO Ramallah. This lesson is about the place Mattancherry, which is situated 9 km southwest of the city of Kochi. Mattancherry is a historical place with several monuments. The famous Paradeshi synagogue, that is, the place of worship of Jews, is situated in Mattancherry. It is a settlement of Gujarati and Konkani people as well. These are some sights from Mattancherry. The synagogue, that is the place of worship of the Jews. This is the interior of the synagogue and the Jew street, Mattancherry. Now let us examine the theme of the chapter. Anitha Thampi is not a native of Mattancherry. She went there to take part in an exhibition. She found that it was a town of ancient buildings which were once prosperous. There she met a lot of people from various cultural backgrounds. These were some people she met in Mattancherry. Alika, the fishmonger. Sarah Cohen, a Jewish woman. Nelson Fernandez, a local dramatist. Chandrakala, an old papadam maker, and Prati, a washerwoman. From these people like these, the author identified the cultural diversity of the place. This experience enriched the author's life as a writer. Coming to the text, in the para 1 she says, Mattancherry is not my homeland. I was not born or bred. I was not born or brought up there. I first encountered this land as a visitor. I was to write poems as part of an exhibition curated by Riaz Komu at Uru Art Harbour. Mattancherry was the Tina or landscape and the title of the show. So the author tells that Mattancherry was not the place where she was born or brought up. She visited the place. She was called in to write poems as part of an exhibition curated by or organized by Riaz Komu at Uru Art Harbour. So Mattancherry was the landscape or the background where this exhibition was supposed to take place. Tinai is a Tamil term for landscape. So that was how Anitha Thampi visited the place. In para 2, she tells, to me, Mattancherry was the shore of rundown godowns. Rundown godowns. Rundown means which was once prosperous, now declined. Ancient edifices, buildings, and tourist lives. I travelled to that shore many days, many times. Slowly and softly, Mattancherry opened its myriad layers, several layers, and narrow alleys to me, like water weeds parting ways to a rowing boat. A fabled land shaped by its ancientness and diversity. Fabled land means a place filled with stories, a place that lives in the many layers of vocations, professions, communities, and lifestyles. So, about the impressions of Mattancherry, the place, she tells, She understood that the place was full of godowns, which were once prosperous and now declined. There were ancient buildings, edifices, and there were a lot of tourists. She traveled many times to the shores of the background. Then this place opened before her. Myriad layers of the several layers of the town opened before him. The narrow pathways, the narrow alleys, as she went through the city, just like water weeds parting before a rowing boat. The place opened before her, and she felt that it was a land filled with stories, and a land which was full of various professions, various communities, lifestyles, etc. And dialects as well. Dialects means various speech styles. It's diverse people living cheek by jowl, that is, living very close together, literally. Its spaces, edifices, buildings wallow in ancient memories. Wallow means immersed in ancient memories. Here, an archaic, old back door of the subcontinent opens to the outer world. A nation by itself, its diversity of shared history and coexistence is a model not just for Kerala, but even the rest of the world. Its nationalism, identity, and unity has to be one in which the people's past, present, and wishes for future mingles, merge, and move. So, continuing the impressions the town has made in the author, the number of people, the diverse people living there, the diverse speeches of people living very close together, that is, cheek by jowl, people living close together. Its buildings, its spaces, everything is filled with ancient memories. So, this is opening to a world, a nation by itself, and its diversity, its history. It is not just a model for Kerala, or it is a place which brings together the whole world to its space. Its nationalism, its identity and unity, uh, in which brings together the people's past, present, and future. It merge together and move. She continues, I wanted to capture the tenuous yet resilient texture of its life through words. I wanted to capture the tenuous, weak, yet resilient, flexible texture of the feel of the life through words. She wanted to explore the land very closely. In time, I discovered that it was impossible and dishonest to travel around like a tourist or journalist and portray people in 4 or 5 poems. Such a museumization would not only be unworkable but also quite disrespectful and unethical to the land and its people. So she felt that she came to write poems. She came to go through the city, the streets, like a journalist. But she felt that it is impossible or it is dishonest to do that. She wanted to go deeper into the layers of the land. So she calls this museumization, that is, the shallow way of approaching the land by writing poems about it. So she did not like the museumization of it. She felt it unworkable and it is disrespectful and unethical to approach the place like that. So instead, she wanted to go deeper into it. She felt I felt I ought to spend a lot of time to unravel, reveal the multi-layered story of Mattancherry and tell it through its singular inhabitants. A few of those early attempts at portrait poetry became a part of the exhibition. So, what she wanted was to find out the diverse people living there, and then uh, write poems about them. That is, it is called portrait poetry, and exhibit it as part of the exhibition that is supposed to take place there. To explain the word museumization, it refers to the act of reducing the rich, complex life of Mattancherry into a static display instead of respecting its dynamic and evolving. Museum means a place where we store ancient materials. So what she wanted was not to present Mattancherry as a museum, but to present Mattancherry as a place of living people. Now coming to the people she had met in Mattancherry. Maimuni Ali or Alika. Alika is a fish merchant. He will wake up early in the morning and walk through the streets of Mattancherry selling fish. The author met him one early morning in the landing station. It was in this shore that the first wave of industrialization in Kerala first appeared. Alika was a boat workman then. He had bullet wounds he received from the police during the police firing during the 1953 workers' struggle. When Anitha Thampi met him, he was 78, selling fish. Sarah Cohen was a 94-year-old woman, one of the last links of Jewish history in Kochi. She was reading the Holy Book. Some school children were there. She was embarrassed that people were taking her photographs. She was very sad that all her people had gone. She is alone in Kochi. The author sat by her side for long and wrote a poem in the tune of a Jewish song she sang. It was her monologue, that is, a long speech by a single person to God. Another person she met there was Nelson Fernandez, a dramatist, trade unionist, and a writer. Many of the songs written by him were sung by the legendary singer Mehboob. He had written over 500 songs and done over 100 plays. He is in his 80s, but still he is involved in trade union activities. Anitha has written a poem about Nelson as well, which starts from a song he had composed for Mehboob. This is Chandrakala, a woman in her 80s. She is one of the papadam makers of Kochi. Her papadams are like full moon, a skill which is likely to end with her. Prati is a washerwoman, aged 85. She belongs to Vannar community, which settled in Mattancherry 4 centuries ago. She washes the clothes, presses, and folds them. The author met several such people in the town. She wrote about such people. It was a new writing experience for her. They communicated with her in an uninhibited manner, that is, they expressed very freely. Each meeting was a meeting of body and soul. This helped her to look into her personality as well. She says, Mattancherry released my life and writing from a possible stagnancy in activity. There was an exhibition in a godown in Mattancherry. There, the poems written by the author was exhibited in big letters. The people about whom the poems were written were also there, who came to read it. For example, Alika's daughter came to read it and gave suggestions. She said, "He is short-tempered. You must add that." That was true. He was an angry man. Once a Brahmin called him a dog and he dumped his fish basket over his head. Another man she met was Ismail, an old-time Gunda. She could not write poem about him. He escaped. Anitha Thampi concludes, I grew up in a village in Alappuzha. My father was a political worker. The boundaries between life within the house and the world outside were very thin. Every person gave, shared, and cared for their neighbor to build the interconnected life of the village. It is this ease and openness that was lost when I became part of urban middle class. Mattancherry carried me back to my childhood and its terrain of many spontaneities. Under its sun and rain, picking its bin and drains, soaked in its mud and water, my life and language gained a new verve. I became a native of Mattancherry. Mattancherry became my homeland. So this is the chapter. The chapter tells about how she went there as part of an exhibition in order to write poems about people. She met several people, Alika among them, Sarah Cohen, Prati, Chandrakala, and after meeting with these people and interacting with them very openly, she felt that she she recaptured her childhood, which she spent in the village of Alappuzha, interacting with the people belonging to various strata of society. And this chapter thus tells us how it was an enriching experience for her to identify herself more. And these are some of the pictures of the exhibition. This is the poem she had written about Maimuni Ali or Alika. This is about Chandrakala, and this is about Nelson Fernandez, Sarah Cohen. So, thus we came to the end of this chapter. Read the text, then listen to or watch the video. Thank you.